world, this is Jeffrey, JGB146 Blake for Hoopa Hideout, coming to you with a replay of the last challenge that I held. It was on July 20th, so just last Saturday, if you're watching this close to when it came out. It's Twilight Masquerade format, since Worlds has not yet happened in July. This is the first challenge of the 2025 season for Oinkers Island, which is the store that I host my events from. And without further ado, let's get into it. We've got 4 rounds to go over today. Let's go. Okay, so this is round 1. We have on the left Nate Kirksey playing Chien Pao, and on the right we have a relatively new player. His name's Brandon, and he's playing a sort of combo Giraffe Rig. Obviously, you see Monkey Dory here, and Blissey EX. So that's the combination deck that he has come up with. He's had a few different iterations on different Monkey Dory based decks, but that's what he's running right now. Nate looks like started the Frigibax attached and played a Buddy of Poffin to get another Frigibax and a Bidoof down. So not a lot. Nate was going first. You kind of like starting the collect Frigibax like he did, if and only if you're going to be able to use the collect attack. Otherwise, it's a 2 retreat cost, so not ideal. But we'll see what he can get to next turn. Brandon now, he played Artisan to get the Chansey for Blissey X, ultimately. And then Mimikyu and Monkey Dory were both from hand. We see he had 2 Artisans in hand and discards 1 with Earthen Vessel now to get what I presume is going to be a Psychic and a Dark Energy. And my guess is, since he can't do much with that Psychic right now, he may just attach the Dark perhaps to the Monkey Dory, because later on he'll be able to move it around with Blissey EX. So he could always, next turn, attach to the active and move the Dark Energy onto it. Looks like that is how he's playing this turn. And then we do see a pass back over to Nate. So Nate starts off playing the Artisan, probably grabbing another Bidoof. Yeah, so he wants to try to shore up his draw capabilities for the game. Since he does have 2 Frigibacks already, he can evolve either one and have a backup ready to kind of develop. We do see him replace the Artisan with a Pokestop, which he immediately uses. And we see a Nest Ball come off of it, but discarding 2 Pokemon, and the barrel especially is kind of hard hitting, because if we could have drawn into that or gotten that somehow, it may make it so that now he only can actually evolve 1 of these Bidoofs without having to play a Super Rod first. The Nest Ball does get played for a Radiant Greninja, and I suspect we'll see Nate play, let's see, probably, yeah, with one of those Water Energies in hand, he's going to conceal cards to draw a couple more cards. So we see an Irida and a Water Energy come off of there, which he can't Irida, probably getting Rare Candy Baxcalibur unless he already has a Rare Candy in hand. He goes straight for the Ultra Ball, so I'm guessing he has Rare Candy in hand. So we'll probably see him Rare Candy up the Frigibax here into a Baxcalibur. And he has Energy Retrievals in hand. I'd kind of like to see him retreat here and then play the Superior Energy Retrieval to get off a Moonlight Shuriken, take out the Giraffe Rig and the Mimikyu. Instead, he just attacks with the active Baxcalibur. That's certainly fine. I feel like we could have done more. He could have also Ultra Balled to potentially get a barrel set up and start drawing that way. So little things that I feel like maybe could have been done different there. But I will say Nate has played this deck way more than I have, so it's possible that he's seeing things that I'm just not seeing. Brandon on this side has promoted the Mimikyu, and now is Ultra Balling, discarding a Farigiraf and a Psychic Energy to get the Blissey EX. Now, that Farigiraf, of course, would have been great going into Giraffe Rig, but not so great now now that the pre-evolution was discarded. We do see a quick Iono from Brandon, and just a tap on Nate's cards. It looks like we're probably going to see an attachment of a DTE to the Blissey EX, but first we get a Nest Ball. This is probably either another Chansey or, yeah, I could have also seen the slight possibility of another Monkey Dory, but I think Chansey is certainly at least equally good. And then we see a pass from Brandon. Now, so I didn't say anything. I'm going to pause for a second. I didn't say anything when he promoted the Mimikyu, but I thought it in my head that if we're able to get a Blissey, and he got to the Blissey before he played the Iono, so if we were able to get to a Blissey, knocking out this Baxcalibur would have been great. So I don't know that the promotion of the Mimikyu was ideal. I think if he had instead promoted the Chansey, knowing that he had Ultra Ball in hand to get Blissey, he could have then played toward actually progressing the game further rather than delaying things with the unnecessary Mimikyu play that's also probably going to get him in a little bit of trouble when his opponent takes an extra KO. So I would have liked to have seen a promotion from Brandon last time of the Chansey, which then evolved into the Blissey. And then we would have ended up seeing a KO as Blissey moved the Dark Energy onto itself and took the knockout. Didn't happen, and that's okay. So Nate has identified one of his prizes. Looks like one iron bundle. Okay. Nate playing a copy of Iron Bundle in his list, as well as the more typical Chien Pao and Iron Hands and Baxcalibur combination. Okay. Looks like the Nestball is going to retrieve that Iron Hands EX, so that is what he's locking into. But I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess Nate's hoping that he will be able to take a knockout on the Monkey Dory or the Chansey at some point soon. Get an Ultra Ball, which I assume is going to go for a Barrel. Sure enough. And we'll start the game of drawing cards now. I have to expect that Nate will be just taking a knockout on the Mimikyu, but hopefully he's preparing. It looked like Nate held up a 4 there to me, but I guess it was a 3 because he did correctly only draw 3 cards. I have to hope Nate is preparing to be able to get the next Baxcalibur up. So we do see 3 items come off of the Pokestop there, which is definitely a good result. And then we're going to see Irida played once again. And I would think we'd just go with a Rare Candy Baxcalibur, but I don't think there was another Baxcalibur in deck. So we settle for Chien Pao and a Earthen Vessel. So the Earthen Vessel will get an additional 2 energy, which can be attached now while Baxcalibur is in play. This is not ideal. I'm pretty sure Nate has a Super Rod in play, so he may be able to get everything back. But he can't play that Super Rod until the Baxcalibur is knocked out. So we do see Baxcalibur's prize. There's that Iron Bundle that was identified previously, and it'll be coming out. That Iron Bundle, as you may have heard in my previous video, was kind of part of the key to Nate actually taking a win on my Ancient Box deck in a matchup we shared. But Nate does go down to 4 prizes now, knocking out that Mimikyu with his Baxcalibur. I suspect we're just going to see either a new attachment. Oh, the new attachment to the Chansey. Okay, so then I think we're just going to see an energy move from Monkey Dory to the Blissey. First, though, we get a Judge. Judge, of course, causes both opponents to shuffle their hands into their deck and then draw 4 cards. When you have a draw capability on your side of the table, it can make sense to kind of disrupt your opponent. So in this case, Nate does have a barrel, so it sort of offsets some of the power of Judge. Brandon, however, also has the attack from Blissey, which will be allowing him to draw until he has, I believe it's 6 cards in hand after he attacks. Only thing I see in Brandon's hands there, I saw a TM de-evolution, and I think there was also a Varigarac EX. But we're just seeing him tap to move the energy forward, and then, yeah, he's going ahead. He is knocking out that Baxcalibur. So Nate will have to recover the Baxcalibur, unless he happened to draw Baxcalibur off of his prizes. He'll have to recover it with the Super Rod and then hope that he gets there. It looks like he does have the pieces. So we see a Nest Ball get played first of all. For the Iron Bundle. Okay, so this works. As long as Nate gets 2 Baxcalibur this turn, he'll be able to fire off this Iron Bundle and take 2 prizes on one of these 2 Pokemon on the bench. So it looks like he's going to go ahead and use the Iron Bundle. And I think the sequencing there is kind of nice, because what it means, what ends up happening now, is that Nate can get the Iron Bundle back with the Super Rod. So he's looking through and looking at getting back Baxcalibur, Iron Bundle, and the barrel. But he decides he wants to get a second Frigibax back instead of the Iron Bundle. That makes sense, because you don't really want to be reliant on having just a Baxcalibur out with no backup potential. Brandon here fixing the alignment of the Pokestop, since Nate has not yet used Pokestop this turn. We will see, looks like a barrel for 2 Industrious Incisors, drawing Nate 2 cards, and he will discard a Bidoof and a Chien Pao in order to get presumably the Baxcalibur. Yeah. There's some debate there after he plays the barrel, he could look at playing and getting the other one and benching the Frigiback, so he's drawing 5 new cards. But shoring it up, making sure you have that Excalibur is probably more important there. He's just having to hope that he hits what he hit, which is that superior energy retrieval. The bad side of it is that he didn't hit he didn't hit a second card to discard. So he ends up benching the Frigibacks and then just passing back. On Brandon's side, we see another Monkey Dory. I kind of like to see him bench that Monkey Dory and maybe get 2 Dark Energies in play, along with 2 Blissey EXs, so that once Nate stops taking automatic knockouts, we can actually kind of make something happen. So we would need to see an energy attachment. It looks like Brandon's trying to decide how he wants to proceed here. We've got a Lost Vacuum in hand. I wouldn't mind seeing him Lost Vacuum away the Pokestop. Getting rid of that TM shouldn't be an issue. But instead, he just passes. We know there was a Judge in hand too, unless I saw things wrong. So I think Brandon made a few mistakes here. I think you can move that Dark Energy up to the Monkey Dory, or not, just play the Judge and then move it later, hoping to be able to retreat and still attack. As is, this is allowing Nate to jump way far ahead as long as he can get his energy, and of course he does, since he was able to draw with Industrious Incisors. We see energies, 3 more water energies get attached to fulfill the extra 3 energy cost in addition to the basic lightning, and then Ampy Very Much will draw 2 more prizes for Nate, leaving him with 2 prizes remaining. We did see Nate get rid of the Prime Catcher there. If there was any way he could have, I think saving that and discarding something else might have been worth doing, because that would enable him to get another 2 prize knockout. But I'm sure there was a reason Nate valued other resources more. And maybe that he wanted to hold on to the Irida so that he can have an easier time recycling back Excalibur if it gets knocked out. On Brandon's side, we see Arvin getting an Ultra Ball and a Hero's Cape. So 300 HP may just become 400 HP, looks like. And I'm guessing the Ultra Ball is going to retrieve us another Blissey EX as well. Ultra Balling away a TM Turbo Energize and a Girafarig. So yes, get the additional Blissey EX out. So we have a second Behemoth. This one doesn't have 400 HP, but 300 is still pretty strong. And we do see the attack from Blissey, just placing 160 damage. It would be 180, but of course the double turbo energy reducing it by 20. And then Brandon will draw his extra cards if he's entitled to. He looks like he's counting. I think he's going to draw 1. There we go. So Nate here, if we still had that Prime Catcher, it would be a great situation for us. But even still, what can we make happen? Looks like Nate's just going to take it easy and do a quick punch into the Blissey EX. So that's 120 damage. It still has 280 HP left. And that Monkey Dory should be able to do some work as well. So given that the Blissey is probably taking a knockout on the active, I think, okay, we see the Lost Vacuum getting the Pokestop out of the way. This leads me to think that we may have Brandon maybe going for a Judge play here, and that could be something to see. Also seeing Super Rod getting back an Energy, a Mimikyu, and a Monkey Dory. With that Monkey Dory, we could potentially see it come into the field. That Dark Energy could move across both Monkey Dories if Brandon has another attachment, and we could get a 3 prize turn here with the Bidoof being knocked out. I don't know how badly that would really hurt Nate's setup because he still has 1 barrel going. But instead, he just moves the energy straight to the other Blissey. I don't like that at all. I think the play is to use the active Blissey to move it onto Monkey Dory, to send 30 damage then over to Nate's side of the board, either on the Bidoof here or on anything else, really. Just send it somewhere. And then Brandon can continue with his play. He decides to use a Sharon's Care to pick up the Blissey and basically heal it up completely. We'll see the old Blissey EX come back down next turn probably. Brandon is holding on to that double turbo energy. I'd like to see it played just because I feel like there's too much opportunity for missing a crucial energy piece. And it also helps us draw more cards because we're thinning. So Nate now plays the Irida. Doesn't even have any water Pokemon left in deck, so he's searching his discard now, trying to decide what the best card he can get off of Irida as an item is. Looks like he's looking at a Super Rod, and that makes sense to me. I think he promoted the Radiant Greninja just because it has a 1 retreat cost. I don't think there's much else to that. We're going to see that Super Rod be played. Looks like he's getting back Iron Hands, and Chien Pao, and Iron Bundle. Okay. We do immediately see, and he hasn't shuffled, so he's going to get something right away. Looks like he's discarding the Chien Pao, Rare Candy, and Hisuian Heavy Ball. That's one too many cards, Nate. Hopefully they catch this. I don't know what was going on there. So I think Brandon was trying to point it out there, and Nate's realizing his mistake now. I vaguely feel like I was called over for this, but it was a pretty simple mistake, so he was allowed to just pick up the extra card that was discarded. Definitely a warning is appropriate there. I don't think it's serious enough for a double prize penalty on the first occasion, but theoretically it would open Nate up to the potential for drawing extra cards, which would be an advantage potentially gained. We do see the Earthen Vessel. They're discarding a rare candy to get a single energy. And if I'm not mistaken, Nate has 2 superior energy retrievals in hand. Okay, so he can evolve up to a barrel now. He started to play the Cyber Maniac and I guess realized that he had already played Irida this turn. So the only way Nate could, I think what he'd like to do is get Iron Hands out and energized, but he can't do that because he doesn't have a Ball Surge card. If he were able to get Iron Hands out, he would have then played the Iron Bundle and taken a knockout on whatever Brandon promoted. Since that's not the case, we'll have to see where things end up next turn. See an Ultra Ball discarding 2 Monkey Dory. That seems reasonable, given that we're not really seeing much just like partial damage in this game. I think Brandon would have needed to really fight harder to get that Monkey Dory plan in motion. Since that hasn't happened, I'm not sure that we need a Mimikyu, because right now everything on Nate's side of the board could knock out that Mimikyu, but it doesn't hurt things to have it down, I guess. It does give Radiant Greninja a target, but I don't know that it's relevant for Radiant Greninja to only have 1 target that it can actually KO. I suspect we'll see more from Nate than that. I believe that Brandon is currently still shuffling. Okay. No, he wasn't shuffling. I'm sorry. He was choosing what to grab with the Arbin. He chose a Pokegear and a TM Energize. So those are interesting choices. I'm not sure why. I mean, I guess we're thinning. I don't know what supporter Brandon wants to find there, but I guess we'll see next turn. So Brandon now is down to 2 prizes, but I suspect we are going to see the end of the game on this turn from Nate. Nate goes ahead and kindly reminds Brandon that he needs to discard that technical machine at the end of the turn. I think a verbal reminder might be more appropriate than grabbing your opponent's cards, but that's just me. And we do see Brandon now thinking what he wants to promote, and he sends up the Monkey Dory. So with Monkey Dory in the active, I think we're going to be looking for an Iron Hands play, like we were talking about before. There should be plenty of resources to pull that off. Nate choosing to bench the Chien Pao. We see Iron Hands come down. And Retrieval will get 1 lightning and 4 energy cards. It looks like Nate is choosing to use another superior energy retrieval, discarding 2 of the 4 energies he just retrieved. That'll work fine, but he also could have just played draw with a barrel after attaching the energies. Either way, the numbers will work out, and Nate will be able to take a knockout with the Iron Hands. Now, you could have argued that there at the end, Brandon would have been better served to promote the Blissey instead of the Monkey Dory, because it still has 300 HP. But as we saw there at the end, Nate had access to 4 water energies and then at least 3 more that were separate. So with 7 energies, that's 420 damage that Chien Pao could have done. Certainly enough that he would have knocked out the Blissey with Chien Pao if that had been the route that Brandon had tried to take. So it was going to be a KO either way. With that, we have reached the end of round 1. So let's go to round 2.